play there by Dowden. He'll turn back to the top of the offensive zone. Take shot, cross ice pass. Go straight, back to the top. The circle. Smith Falls setting up very nicely, but the Phantoms really keeping up. Shoots and scores! Ring Twine early at the top shelf. And they'll lead it 1-0 on a power play.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 13 of the EOSHL podcast. My name's Justin Ellery, and with me today is Smiths Falls blue liner Dave Bennett. How's it going today, Dave?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
Oh man, I've been busy. I've been writing up stuff for all the different teams in the league. You know how it is. It's a never ending job for me in this league, and I absolutely love it. So how's your off season going?
Off season's good. The summer's good. It's always a good time in. I'm right in Nepean, so it's always a good time in Ottawa here. Can't say I'm doing as much training as I used to, but skating here and there, and getting to some Blues Fest concerts and whatnot. I headed up to the cottage maybe a couple times, and just enjoying the good weather while we got it.
Did you happen to catch that Jelly Roll show the other day?
You know what? I didn't make it. I had a little golf match with some buddies on Tuesday night, so I didn't make it to Shabuzi or Jelly Roll. I heard good things though. I heard it was a good show.
Yeah, I heard he donated all his earnings towards the Indigenous communities all in Canada. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's unreal.
So hats off to him. That's amazing. Sure. I haven't really listened much to his music, but I've seen a couple of his performances live, and he's got a great voice. So how is your golf game? I understand you just said you had you just had some rounds there. How's your golf game turnaround? Is it going good?
It's getting better. Got better since pretty much since I kind of hung up the skates. Not for good, obviously, but started playing a bit more. We got a couple good guys on the Rideaus, some good golfers. So we had our Rideaus tournament a couple weeks ago. Little shindig in Smiths Falls. That was a great time. So good to get everyone together again in the off season, and volunteers, coaches, players. And then just people in the community. So that was a great time.
Now, tell us about yourself. Tell us who's Dave Bennett? Where are you from? And what do you do?
So I'm born and raised Nepean boy. So grew up playing for the Raiders here in Nepean, and then maybe a couple years before our minor midget or our minor Bantam. The AAA came into effect in Ottawa here. So then I played with the Sens for a couple years, and then was lucky enough that, we have a pretty good Central League here. So I was able to stay at home, played for the grads here in the Central. Kind of a rare thing, I guess, in hockey to be able to just sleep in your own bed throughout the entirety of your junior career and whatnot. So, I was lucky to do that. Stay in the high school that I went to here in Nepean, and from there was lucky enough to get some opportunities, and ended up in Buffalo. So had a great time in Buffalo playing for Canisius College. They're now, I think, Canisius University. Switched the name on us, but I played there for 4 years, and at that point, it was. I was okay with calling it at that point. I actually didn't play for quite a while. So that would have been 2018, and did some traveling. I was living overseas for a bit, and Costy messaged me, Brett Costello, kind of keeping tabs on me while I was roaming around. So I ended up, I said I'd come out for a skate or two. Wasn't sure if I was going to start playing again, but ended up with the Rideaus out there. Skated a couple times, just enjoyed the boys, enjoyed being back in the locker room and stuff. And so now, it's been, I guess, 2 seasons now that I've been back in the swing of things. So I'm glad I did. I'm glad Costy, kept me on his line for a couple of years, and yeah, I'm excited for this third year coming up.
He's a smart. He's a beauty, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
anytime I've interacted with him, he's always pretty quick to reply.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna rewind a little. Oh, you cut out there for a second. I'm gonna rewind a little bit here. So like, when did like how did you get into hockey? I should say, I was like, where was that like in that timeline in your life where hockey started for you? Like, who got you?
Hockey was young. I'm the youngest of four kids, so I got two sisters and a brother. All were pretty involved in sports. So just being the youngest, I was thrown into things at a pretty young age. So I started, I don't know, skating probably, regular age. Like I was 4 or 5 right before Timbits was on the ice, and then obviously played the Timbits here and stuff. Um, my family was a sports family. Uh, we were encouraged, and our parents did a lot of driving. We're all 2 years apart, so it was a busy household. A lot of carpooling with teammates and figuring things out for my parents, and so we played all kinds of sports. We were a hockey household, but um, we were encouraged to do anything we enjoyed really by our parents. So I played a ton of things, and obviously as hockey got more and more competitive, coaches kind of clamped down on that. As far as we were playing football that was leaking into the hockey season. I played some rugby and stuff. So by the time you get towards the end of high school, it's kind of just hockey at that point. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question in a short, it was pretty early. It was exposed to the hockey world, going to my siblings' games. So it was something that I enjoyed doing, and I ended up doing it for a lot longer than my parents may have thought I would. But yeah, it was good.
So now you mentioned the NCAA. So you definitely have a few teammates that on the Rideaus that played in the NCAA. You got Costello, Beasley, Witzel. Is that where you met those guys, or was it Costello that you met playing out there and like just kind of kept tabs on you?
No,
Is
so those guys were around Smiths Falls in the Central when I was playing for Cumberland. So I didn't really know them honestly at the time. We played in the league together for a couple of years, obviously, but we're not the same age as any of those guys. Like I'm not the same age as any of those guys, so I didn't really know them from minor hockey or anything like that. And then just I guess being from Nepean, them being from out in Smiths Falls and Westport and whatnot. I never really crossed paths with them. Really, when Costy messaged me, I'd never really had a conversation with Costy, so he was texting me about the hockey, and yeah, I just was responding. We're in various parts of, like I said, I was overseas at the time, so I was responding from various parts of Europe, letting them know where I was at and when I was coming home and whatnot. And but no, I never crossed paths. And then in college, it was different divisions, so we never crossed paths in college either. So I didn't really know many of the Rideaus guys personally until I joined up.
Now I know like the NCAA is like I hear a lot of talks about the NCAA being like a step above the OHL in terms of the skill level, in terms of the speed, the physicality, the development. So like from your perspective, playing at that level, how was it? Like how was that skill level for you playing in that, in the NCAA?
Yeah, it's a jump. I mean, it's definitely a jump from junior A, right? Comparing it to the OHL, it's always, I don't know. It's a tough thing to do because in NCAA you have such older guys. Especially in different conferences. Some conferences are more built on bringing in those 20, 21-year-old freshmen. And so, like, when I was there, my first year, I was 18 when I went. I turned 19 in my first year. We had a class of, I think, 10 seniors that year, and a lot of them were like 1990 borns, so they were 24, 25 years old. So these are big dudes, grown dudes, strong guys, and in preseason camp and testing and stuff. So still in speed and stuff, like, I mean, it was a jump for sure, an eye opener as far as coming from the Central. Um, and definitely like in the practices and the development and the video sessions, stuff that I wasn't really exposed to a ton in my junior career. So really the hardest parts were the practicing and the training. That was a huge difference for me in terms of going to school, the preseason testing and whatnot. The end of the day, the play, like, I mean, you see it right in when the Canadian schools go over and they do the exhibitions and stuff. The top schools, like in hockey, you can compete with. It's not a cakewalk for any NCAA team against some of the best CIS guys, you know. So
Yeah.
It's definitely comparable at that sense. And I think at the end of the day, like, yeah, maybe if an NCAA team played an OHL team because of that age separation,
Age gap.
they might, you know,
and also, yeah, and also you're also seeing these undrafted free agents coming out of the NCAA signing in the NHL too, right? So that makes
for
a lot
sure.
of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now one thing I want to mention too is you did play a little bit in the inaugural season of the EOSHL. You played 3 games with the Maxville Millionaires, who are now known as the South Stormont Mustangs. You did manage to get a point per game. You got 3 assists.
Yeah, it's tough on that team.
Now,
I think we lost by a couple touchdowns every game.
Oh, jeez. Now, how did you find your way to Maxville? Was there like somebody on the Rideaus like at the time that was there and like, you know, knew you, or like how did that come to be?
It was a guy I knew, Brandon Watt. He's from Nepean as well. He played at Robert Morris when we were both at school. He was back, and his roommate from juniors kind of bounced around between the East Coast and here. They were playing on it, and essentially was like, you know, come get some ice, come play some of these games. You know, there's hitting, whatever. Yeah, it was short lived. It was short lived out in Maxville, as was, I guess, their franchise there. But
tenure.
yeah. Yeah, it took me those 3 games, and then I was fresh out of school and college and stuff. I was kind of ready for a break from hockey, so I kind of went with Waddy, like, you know, to go and see what was up. But after a couple, driving out to Maxville, and like I said, I don't think they won a game. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hang them up for a bit here, take a break.
And then, of course, like you went that 2020-21 season, the COVID season, I believe it was. There was no games played. So, and then of course, you know, the 21-22 season comes around, and then you know, the Rideaus come calling. So how did that happen? I'm assuming it's Brett Costello here.
That's exactly it.
You're saying he did the call. Yeah.
Exactly. And again, he knew Brandon Watt, the guy I just mentioned. So actually, him and me and Waddy actually had both went to a state or two in Smiths Falls. Causey was texting both of us. He ended up not doing it. He had he had hip surgery and shoulder surgeries throughout his college career and stuff, and he was ready to just hang him up. But yeah, at that point, I had been away from the game for a couple of years. It's tough on the lungs the first couple skates back, I'll tell you that. But it was a good time. So I was having a good time again, being back on the ice and being back around some of the guys and stuff. So figured I'd kick around that year and give it a shot. And yeah, ended up enjoying it a ton. So yeah, I was glad I was able to do it and specifically get to the Rideaus, because it's a good group of guys. It's a great town. And we have a good time out there. So
I'm gonna ask you about the Rideaus. So like, I've watched a lot of Rideaus games, and you know, I've covered a lot of Rideaus games, you know, with my time in Frontenac and so on, and also covering for the EOSHL TV. One thing I will say is that the Rideaus have been one of probably the most consistent franchises in the league in terms of like their success and their structure. Why do you think that is? Is it the players are involved? Is it management? How have they managed to like maintain that high level year after year?
I think there's a bit of everything. Obviously, it's a great spot. They have a lot of guys are local guys, right? And from our youngest to our oldest group of guys, I mean, guys know each other. Brett does it, like I said, Costello does a great job of connecting different groups of guys and bringing in the right guys. It's I don't know, it's easy to play, when you're playing out there. It's in a league that that can get chippy. It's always pretty crucial to like the guy beside you on the bench, So it's
Exactly. It's very important, right?
yeah. So I'd say it's from top down, from the town support, to the volunteers, to a ton of hours that get put in for us as far as we getting buses, getting food and drinks on those buses. We just got to show up, and I'd say it starts from the owner, from Rusty, and it trickles down to the players. Everyone has a good time. At the end of the day, all of our careers are quote unquote, done. But we love to play. We love to play for the Rideaus in the town. So it makes things pretty easy out there.
So one thing I've always said about the Rideaus is you guys are a very frustrating team for teams to play against. You guys you shut teams down, you keep them to the outside, you keep the front of the net clear. You guys create scoring opportunities off of turnovers. Like, it's honestly, I will tell you, like, from an outside source, like from seeing what you guys can do, honestly, it's for your opposing teams. You guys are definitely a frustrating team for those teams to play against. And I've honestly haven't seen a team that can play as well defensively consistently like the way you guys do. And I know that's something you guys, from an outsider's point of view, looks like you guys prioritize very well. You guys also the most disciplined team in the EOSHL. So you guys are actually, your special teams are through the roof.
Could have fooled me on that one, but I
guess I did some research today, and I'm like, whoa, Smiths Falls is the least penalized team in the league. Like, that's crazy. Like, if you look at your power play rank first in the league at if you look here at the bottom here at 29.8%, and your penalty kill rank fifth at 80.9%. So you guys are doing something right. Now, you last year individually had 5 power play goals. So that, five of your 6 goals last season were on the man advantage. So that's really that's awesome. Now, we saw last year, you guys really took a stride forward. In terms of you guys went into that matchup against Frontenac, and that was a cakewalk. That was a 9-1 win, I believe it was, and it was, there was no matchup there. But then you go to, Deserano, and you guys are the underdogs against the Deserano Bulldogs, because Deserano they were first in the West up until the last day of the season, until Gananoque leapfrogged them. So you guys go into that series against Deserano with, really nothing to lose, right? Like, you guys came in there and you guys came away and had that upset. How did you guys overcome that adversity against a powerhouse like that?
You know what? It almost kind of goes back to the year before when we played Tweed in the playoffs, and a bit of an eye opener, I think, for a lot of us, a lot of the guys on the team. Like, we just couldn't get over the hump, especially in the Tweeds barn, a smaller barn. They play really well there in terms of closing things off and physically, as well as in their own zone, not giving up much chances. And we just kind of couldn't find it in those playoffs. And we were kind of, after that one was done, it stung a bit, because we felt like we should have done better. And I think you kind of realize from that, and playoffs are a different beast. The season's a ton of fun, and there's sure games get physical and chippy and whatnot. But playoffs are a different thing altogether. And I think learning from that series with Tweed the year before, It was just, I guess, just sticking with it. We didn't think too much of it. We never had the greatest record. I think we've gotten blown out a couple of times in Deserano's barn, just the combination of road games and whatever it is. They're good in their barn. They're a good team. And so it was really at that point just bearing down. And, like we can't, in the playoffs, you can't get by on soft plays and on skill alone. And Deserano obviously added a ton of pieces. So they were physical and they were skilled. So it was, I don't know. It was a great series, couple overtime bounces, right? Go the right way, they go the wrong way for Deserano that year. It's a funny sport like that. And, we got a couple nice bounces, some nice goals in overtime. And it was a good series, a ton of fun to play them. And we were happy. We were happy once we got through them.
It's funny because in that game 5, I remember seeing Andrew McKinney on the breakaway, and Billy's doing the call, and like the goal caught us so off guard because of like it was just a delayed reaction. We didn't know it went in the net, and Billy was like, "Eddie, score!" It just caught us off guard because it was just the way that he came in on such a sharp angle. We didn't know where the puck was, and then the ref signaled the goal and so on. But that series alone was, I'd have to say, was one of the best matchups I've seen all last year. We looked at the final between North Dundas and Gananoque, but you guys had a phenomenal series against the Bulldogs. It was entertaining. I have a question here coming up from Mr. President John Zink here. Favorite memory with the Rideaus and the EOSHL?
Favorite memory over the 2 years? I'll keep the off ice stuff, I guess, for another time. But no, there's honestly, we have it's such a good time out in Smiths Falls. I mean, I'd say that Deserano series is up there. That was just as far as the support we had, and we felt like a couple times that we didn't quite make it as far as we should for the fans want to come out and see us playing deeper in the playoffs, and we hadn't quite gotten over that hump. So that series was definitely up there as far as on the ice with the group of guys we had. And as fun as it was to watch, like you just mentioned, like it was a ton of fun to play. Good group of guys. There's a good mutual respect among the teams, but guys are playing hard, and we ended up going the right way for us. So that was probably up there in the last 2 years as far as with the Rideaus. Was there a second part to that question? Favorite memory with the Rideaus and
EOSHL?
I don't
know if it's a combined question, but
that would be it. That would probably be it. But we've had some good times out in Smiths Falls. So off the ice, there's definitely a ton of memories meeting up with the guys and the people in the town. And, we've had a couple, I think we had a live band at one point last year for a game against Dan during the game and stuff. So it's always some fun things going on. It's fun to be a part of.
Now I'm going to take a little shift here. I'm going to ask you here about a little bit of the organization here. So
sure.
Davin Hamilton, Ange Colley, two fantastic people I've gotten a pleasure to meet as long as I've been involved in this league. How much of an impact had they had on that Rideaus community and in Smiths Falls?
Oh, I mean, like I said, it really starts with the people who are the backbone of the team, between Ange, Davin, Pat, who's our trainer, but also everything in between, a trainer, getting us gatos, getting us, buying us, stitching us up as far as, our equipment. Some guys have some equipment from the 90s still. He'll do it all, So those three in particular, they just make it so easy for us. And we're super grateful always for them. It's really all we got to do is show up and play. And there's always, waters are filled. There's food for us. Anything we need that they can help out with, they do. And it makes a massive difference for us as far as how really kind of professional the organization feels when you're around it. It really feels like a top tier, top class organization as far as what they provide for us. And there's a lot of hours that go into that behind the scenes that we might not see as players, but we're definitely aware of their impact. And yeah, the Rideaus wouldn't be the Rideaus without those group of people for sure.
I've had that privilege of kind of getting to know Devin the last, few years and seeing him grow as a person. It's been, it's been wonderful seeing him mature into the young man he is. And you can just tell he loves this group of players. And, he occasionally will do his Davin report or the Hamilton report.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
awesome.
and I'm sure you're aware about the whole tattoo situation with El Presidente if you guys win a title.
Is that I'm unaware.
Oh, Ange said, Ange, if you're listening, Ange said she was gonna get a Rideaus tattoo somewhere if you guys won a title. So
okay,
yeah, something to keep in mind. So for this upcoming season here, you guys got some signings done. What are you looking forward to the most with this upcoming season? That I know looking at your roster, you guys look dangerous as ever.
Yeah, I think I think we made a huge jump last year. It's crazy, adding a couple pieces, and we brought some new guys in, and the impact that you have in terms of filling out the roster with just a few pieces is huge. And I think we made a big jump in the right direction last year. And then obviously we had the announcement the other day, 4 new signings. Totter, we're obviously familiar with. He was back and forth from school last year and stuff, but he was playing a couple games, so that's huge. And then Tate, and so I mean, I'm just looking forward to getting back out there. Really, I know there's a bit different formatting as far as the divisions, which I'm not totally familiar with, but you are more than I am. Yeah, I mean, it's always a good time. We've got a little tryout, little preseason state, so that's always a great time. You see the boys for the first time at the end of the summer, and seeing where we're at from last year, because it looks good, and I'm looking forward to it. So I think the Rideaus will be a solid squad again this year.
I'm really excited to see what you guys have this year. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I usually ask this question earlier on, but who would you say? Because Brett Costello said you were one of the best defensemen in the league. Now, I'm going to ask you here: who would you say that you emulate your game after? Like, if you compare yourself to an NHL player or somebody that you watched growing up.
You know what? I got in that question. It's tough for me because I like a little bit of everything in the game. I definitely enjoy the fact that I'm back in the league that has visors and some hitting and fighting, keeping everyone keeping everyone honest. That's a part of the game that I love. I think it just the atmosphere of the game when that's a possibility. I think that's how hockey should be played. So it's tough to say as far as a specific person. Obviously, I was a forward for a long time, so I jumped to defense later on. So growing up, I liked. I liked Dougie Gilmour growing up. I liked the Leafs were a team that I did like to cheer for when I was young. But I never really had a singular player that I thought, especially as I transitioned to a defenseman, I always kind of felt like I was just because I was learning the game. Like I switched in minor midgets, so my OHL draft year. So I was you're 15 at the time. So I was just trying to figure it out really when I switched to defenseman. So I didn't really emulate after anyone. I was just trying to keep a physical game and chip in offensively where I could. It's a tough question though, I don't even thinking about it right now, it's tough. I can't see myself in too many guys, like as far as that goes. I'm not maybe I'm just not self-aware like that, but yeah, I just like to have fun when I'm out there. So, sometimes it comes with some mistakes, but any way to make the game fun, I enjoy. So this league's great for that. Really, a lot of scoring keeps keeps the fans entertained as far as physicality and scoring goes, and I'm all about that. So
I'll say, like, the arena in Smiths Falls, it's a beautiful facility, and I think it's very, like, deceiving when you see a video of a game, and it's like the arena looks empty, but it's really not.
no, yeah,
You know, it's just all the fans are all in one section.
yeah, exactly.
So, but it is one of the nicest facilities that I've got to see. I've yet to see the one up in Prescott, but I hear that one is really nice too. But I always enjoy going to Smith Falls just because it's really well built. The view of the ice is great, and there's no netting. You guys have those those flappy things in the air, that stop the puck. I have another question here from Mr. President.
Okay.
Are you excited for the new rivalry with Westport?
Yeah, that's where Ben Beasley's a Westport native, So I think the rink's right up the road from his house. Yeah, I am, and I'm excited, even more excited for the shorter drive.
Yeah, I think Costello's from there too, isn't he?
I don't know. All those guys, Perth, Smiths Falls, Westport, Causey might be.
It's all.
I thought
it's a small. It's small. Like, it's not far from anywhere, really.
No.
If you think about it, even like Westport's not even a far drive from Frontenac either. So it's kind of like in a good central location, really.
I am for sure. It's always fun with the league bringing in new teams and stuff. So we'll see who they're able to get over there at Westport. I'm sure a lot of the guys on our team will know quite a few of those lads too. So I'm sure it'll be some fun games.
Yeah, they're definitely getting some signings going in right now. So they're building their roster up. There's been some interesting signings. They just signed a goaltender too, which he had some good junior numbers. Now, you're a Leaf fan living in Ottawa. Are there a lot of Leaf fans living in Ottawa? I know there's a fair amount of Montreal fans in Ottawa, but like in terms of Ottawa is an interesting hockey market. I know because anytime I go to a Sens game, I'm as you can see who I cheer for Montreal. But anytime I'm in Ottawa or gone to a Sens game, I went to a Nashville game against Ottawa, and I would say it was about 50% Nashville fans.
Yeah. I will say that was. I was a Leafs fan when I was younger. Kind of, I don't know if I had older cousins in Toronto, so maybe a little influence there, who are big Leafs fans. As I got older, it was more just a fan of the game. I just enjoy watching good hockey now. And honestly, if the Sens do well, I'm happy if I'm here for it. The town's a lot more lively when the Sens are doing well.
There's a buzz,
which is fun for everyone. Yeah, exactly. So. At these points, I don't know how I exactly started cheering for them. Maybe it was just my dad was a Sens fan, so I just wanted to cheer against him.
Against it, yeah.
But yeah, no, Leafs when I was younger, and nowadays I wouldn't classify myself as a Leafs fan, but definitely a fan of
just an overall fan of hockey in general.
Exactly.
Now, Smiths Falls held their first annual skills competition back in April. Were you in attendance for that? I don't recall because I was kind of busy.
I was there. I didn't. We didn't get to pick what we were in. So
you were voted, right? Were you voted in that, or was it?
Yeah, I wasn't in any of the skating. I was in the hardest shot, which I was never winning.
How'd you do? Because I watched a little bit of the footage that I had from Witzel from the GoPro, and I'm gonna say that guy talks a lot. How did you do on the hardest shot?
Oh, not great. I think I had a low 80s, but I use a whippy stick, and I already have a muffin, so I just try to get snappers on net. It's not built for a slap shot, But I think Slacker took home the hardest shot. He had low 90s, so no one was.
I think it was a 91. That. I think it was a 91 something. It was up there, and there was another one that was around an 89, if I recall.
I wasn't winning that.
Was there anybody in that skills competition that shocked you in terms of I didn't know that person can do that, or didn't know they were that good at this?
No, we had a lot of stuff going for the fastest skater, a lot of
Oh yeah, I picked Sprague as my winner, but I think it ended up being, was it Spencer Cobalt?
It was the Cobalt.
Was it?
Yeah.
He's that was a fast lap.
Yeah, he's got some wheels on him.
And one of the competitions, I got to say that really, I'd say it wasn't really like he wasn't taking part in it, but he was the first one to go around. Was your old coach taking the lap?
JJ.
You know,
Yeah,
JJ. He had wheels too. Everybody was just having a ball with that one.
Yeah, that was unreal.
But honestly, it was a fun experience for us to be at, and just kind of shaking off a little bit of like off-season rust and just kind of seeing like guys in the league again. And I thought it was a very successful event, and Ange and Davin, again, fantastic job. And Witzel, Eric Witzel, I got to give that guy a big thank you for doing what he did wearing that GoPro. I had to really, really dig in and try and find footage because the angle he had the camera on was almost looking right at the ice the entire time. So, of course, I had to really try and find stuff for us like, at least a little decent. Yeah. But next time we know to have the camera up a little bit more. But he talks a lot.
He tries
Now, who are you guys this upcoming season going to have a close eye on in the standings this year? Like, who are you going to be like looking over your shoulder or looking ahead, or like who do you guys like have your sights on?
Well, I mean, obviously Dan staying in our division. Dan has always been a team we see frequently, and obviously them doing what they did last year. That's they set the bar there, right? So it was good to see a team and Dan come out as much as we battle with them. It's, it's nice to see, especially the way the divisions were split last year. They were representing our side, and, we didn't even see the other guys really for a lot of the year and stuff. Right. So it's good to see. And, that they mixed up the league a bit, and they ended up pulling through there in Game 5. So definitely, obviously, with Dan and with Deseranto, and then everything else, there's a couple new teams, so it's a bit up in the air at this point. So definitely, Dan and Deseranto are two teams that we always have fun games against, and we'll be looking forward to seeing them again this upcoming season.
Now, I have another question here from Mr. President here. He says, who do you look forward to playing and who do you not look forward to playing against? It's a very loaded question there. I could go both ways, right?
You know what? Despite the drive, the boys love getting out to Barry's Bay. They do a great job with the town and with the crowd. That's if you get the team on the bus, and it's a fun little road trip. And they're fun games out there. Where the atmosphere is second to none out there in the league. So that's always fun. I wouldn't say there's any team where we don't look forward to playing, but you're getting into some battles obviously when you're going against the top teams. So it's not looking forward. It's really just there's not easy games, even if it's Game 3 of the year. It's you leave those games with some bruises, and hopefully we can come out with a couple wins in some of those games this year too. And but those are games where you might not be out at the bar as late the night before.
Yeah, and, I'll agree with you on the Barry's Bay thing. Just a fantastic atmosphere in there. And, you got to think like when you look at their actual like population of the area and how many people are at that rink, it's like almost the entire community is there.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So as a defenseman, who is the toughest player to defend that you've had to go against?
Toughest individual player. Oh man, there's a lot of good guys in the league. It's I'd say when we played the North Dundas power play last year, when we played them as a unit, that was probably one of the tougher times being on the ice in the past 2 seasons. I think we lost that game like 7-6 or something, but man, they have just 2 full units of guys that can score, and especially on our sheet of ice, it's pretty big. So they move that puck around. There's some good guys that can sling it. So that was
Broats, you got Gustafson. Like it's it's
I mean,
such they're such a deep team, and they're
you guys
everybody I talk to
yeah.
says Dundas is just that's the team they want to play against, or it's hardest to play against, but they get a real enjoyment out of playing against
something
them.
in our barn too, right? It really opens up the game as compared to some of the other rinks. So when you get a skilled team like that, and it helps us for sure. Like we love playing at home because of how nice it is, because the fans are there for us, but also it's a bigger rink than a lot of the other rinks. So it's a give and take though when you play some of the top teams. Like those top players are going to have a bit more space, and they can make some good plays. So yeah.
I've also seen some teams where they play in a smaller rink, but they play in a bigger rink, and it's like a complete, like it can sometimes work against you too. I've seen
for sure, yeah.
But a team like North Dundas, man, they're just a fun team to watch. The engagement from their fans too is crazy as well. Now, next question I have here is goalie. Who do you think is the toughest goalie to score on? Or at least, from your experience.
You know what? I don't know. Arm Pryor's goalie last year, 2 years ago, was a big lad. We had a hell of a time. Like we I think one game, and I'm blanking on his name right now. Obviously,
Owen?
I'm not sure. It wasn't this
McDonald. Was it Mixick?
Maybe.
Mixick? Mixick is now a Smiths Falls Rideau too. So maybe it was him.
I'm not sure. But goalie, I mean, I'm terrible with names, so forgive me when I can't drop a name on some of these questions.
Oberoi. Oh, John saying maybe it's Oberoi.
Anyways, we had a hell of a time. We had a hell of a time with the Rivermen. Yeah, he had our number for throughout the year. Like they snuck away wins with us. And he was unreal. We couldn't get it by him some of the time. So then this past year, I mean, obviously we got Daly on our end. So I love
the way he plays the game, so calm in that net. And he's got a glove like a shortstop, and that's because he is a shortstop.
Exactly.
But he's just so calm. The way he reads that play in front of him, he just commands that crease. Like he's definitely one of the elite tenders of this league, and I love watching him play. Anytime there's a good goaltending matchup, I love watching him play. He's definitely one of my favorites out there. Now, what are your big goals coming up for 2025?
For the Rideaus, I mean, we hope to get to the finals this year. I definitely want to. We want to play hockey a little bit longer into the spring. And I don't know, you know more of the formatting this year, but we want to play some of those guys on the other side in the playoffs once we get far enough, so we want to test, see where we're at throughout the season and put ourselves in a good spot to make a good deep run. And I think we owe it to the town to try to bring some hardware back to Smiths Falls, and then Ange can get her tattoo as well. So
that's right, Ange. The boys have a mission.
Yeah.
and how do you think you're? So I'm gonna go with my next question here. It kind of answers a little bit from the last one here. My prediction time is, what are we going to see at the end of 2025?
A parade in Smiths Falls, baby. That's what we'll see.
There we go. I know it's one of those like cliche questions you'll ask every team, and but maybe some teams will have different wherever they are in their process, right? But
for sure,
I definitely see you guys as a championship contender in the league, like just in terms of everything that's being done, the connections that are being made. It's the right way to build a team. I've got to give credit to your captain, Brett Costello, Ben Beasley, with Eric Witzel. Like, you guys have something really good going, and Andrew Sprague, like, where did he come from? Like he's just this little kid who looks like he's 12 years old and gets ID'd at whenever he tries to buy beer. But he's just a firecracker on the ice, so fast. He's got a lethal shot. I've really enjoyed watching him play, especially in the playoffs. Just his up ice speed it's up there. But I think you guys have as good as a roster as any of the top teams in the league, and you guys are up there. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a good group of guys hockey wise, and it's a good group of locker room guys. So it's fun to go to the rink, and makes it easy to have a good time when you're playing too. So,
and one more thing here. Oh, Billy has a little comment here. Love calling your games in Smiths Falls. You guys have an easy team to get excited for. What's a personal goal you've set for what's a personal goal you've set for yourself this season?
I don't know. I can't say I focus too much on one thing or the other. Like personally, I enjoy getting out there. I enjoy helping out the team how I can. If that's playing physically or getting some points here and there. I think it's nice, in this league, it's important to keep those special teams, those power plays and PK units good. I think you win and lose games in this league for sure. So I think building off of that, I think I had some good success last year with the power play with some of the units that we mixed. Yeah, that we mixed and matched a ton on the power play, right? So there wasn't really it's just being able to mesh with the guys and find what clicks. And if we can keep that up as a team, keep our power play hot, and personally, if I can help out with that, I think that'll help us put ourselves in a good spot going into playoffs.
Perfect. Well, Dave, those are all my questions for today, buddy. This has been fun. Again, I'm really excited for the Rideaus this upcoming season. Me and Billy are certainly going to be coming down there, and certainly we're going to be, loving to catch these games and seeing the growth of your team. Again, I got to thank Ange and Rusty for always being so great to us every time we're there, and you guys, Brett Costello, yourself, Calvin Watazik, everybody on that team is just they're great guys, and I can't thank you guys enough for being who you guys are and good people and doing a great job in terms of making great hockey for our league. So again, we really appreciate it.
We absolutely we appreciate you guys, everything you guys do as well. So definitely doesn't go unnoticed, and the league needs it. It's a great league, and it's good that more and more people are seeing that, and you can see it in the players that are coming in and the crowds that are coming in too. So it's definitely not just up to the players. We see a lot of the work, this included, that goes into this, and to expose some of what we've got, the product we've got. So it's awesome. Looking forward to another good year for sure.
Well, fans, thank you again for tuning in for the EOSHL podcast. Just a quick announcement. We are now on Spotify. So if you haven't already, please head on over, look up EOSHL podcast, and make sure to follow us. And also don't forget to subscribe to us on the YouTube channel as well. All right. Thanks again for coming in, Dave. It was a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you on the ice.
Thanks a lot.